There we go.
Giovanni, good morning.
Hey,
What's going on,
or-
man? All good?
yeah, yeah, fine, fine. Even if it's raining in Florence, so it's not really an Italian kind of weather, but still.
You're still
And
in
if,
Florence.
yeah,
You're
also.
still in Florence. You're still 15 minutes walk from l'Antico Vinaio.
Yeah, it's 20, 25, but still it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
The best panino in the world.
Yeah, I think so. But usually I use a delivery, I have to say, because I like to have the stuff coming to my home directly without doing any queue or stuff like that.
Any
I don't like.
walking. You know
Yeah.
that actually I was in Firenze during my military time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm discovering that you had a military time now, to be honest.
I'm a little bit older than what most people think, because I'm 42.
Yeah, I mean, you seems my age or younger. I'm 33.
There you
So,
go. And back then I remember like in the night we would go out. I was in Scandicci, the old
yeah.
parachute military team, and we were going to Florence to eat sbriciolona.
You know that because
Sometimes
bring,
I
I took
dream it
special,
at night.
and that's why I should bring again this Bricholona to the D2 this year because now it's going to be like a tradition stuff.
Yeah, and the D2 it's approaching. I can't wait to see you again, man.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I mean, it's an event that every year we can't miss, and Spoiler Lucia will be with me also this year. So happy to have her again in the group.
Is she
Uh,
bringing the baby?
no, 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 no. I think she will take a break from that mom life just for a couple of days to enjoy the D2 at full.
Giovanni,
So
for the people who don't know you, why don't
yeah,
you do a little introduction about yourself and you tell us
yeah.
what you do?
Okay, yeah. Let's where I can start. Let's say born in Turin but raised in Rome. For the start, then I had a lot of experiences during my university. I studied architecture, so I'm also an architect. And during my university, I went to South Africa, Argentina, Brazil. Then after the MADI, the postgraduate master in Venice, I joined the Seki Smith team in London. And then I was lucky enough to be here in Florence to start the Italian office that grew quite faster, I have to say. And now, we are trying to reach let's say the good point, the good balance between all the elements of the office. When you start something new, it's always a bit tricky to manage everything. But it's fine. And now I'm in Florence. So for the first time, I think in my life after my university, I'm thinking to stay in a place, and I'm in Florence. I like the city, and while I'm saying that, is a glimpse of light is coming from the window. So there's also good weather now, let's say. And there's like the Seki Smith part, that is the company I belong to, that I of course love and enjoy. But there's also like a solo project that I started a few years ago, a couple I think, that is Tauma, because I felt at a certain point doing images, animation, and stuff like that for the archvids. I realized that in my personal stuff, the portfolio, I have just sci-fi things and stuff not related to the archvids. So I said, okay, you like the architecture, you like the archvids, but then there's something else. So I understood that I had a way to do what I like just to have fun. And so Tauma born from this idea, and in these 2 years I understood, maybe just now to be honest, I'm really aware of that. I understood that what I do is just a way to realize what I was dreaming when I was really a child. So when you dream stuff like spacemen, like spaceships, stuff like that, distant worlds, and it's just in your mind because you are playing with toys and you create stories. Now I can create my stories with my characters, with my images, and then in some cases, my view is a bit darker than let's say than the one that I had when I was young. So It's just but because when you grow, you start to think also other topics, let's say, and you try to mix both, and nothing. It's really just a way to have fun, and now I'm trying to make a more planned project, also about my artworks, but still without trying to follow trends or stuff like that. It's just because it's something that I like. And especially after, the big NFT bubble that we had, that was a mess because, it was really not about the art, even if, the NFT technology is incredible, and it's something that we should always take care of, because it's something that we can't go back from this stuff, even if there's people that don't know that. And so I met other people that were interested like me in these topics, and long story short, we opened like an association. Now we are legally in Italy like a cultural association. And so we are going to promote artists in general. We are trying to build a community, and trying to be, also like a guide in some cases for people that trying to approach the art world, digital art world, that is very hard, because when you try to step into the NFT world, it's full of things. It's full of people that want to try to, access your wallet, fake stuff like that. So we're trying to be a guide in that very hard world. And we are trying to promote artists, basically. Our art and art of the artists that we love. We are a DAO, so all the members have the power to make decisions, and this is really something that we really like. For instance, when we did our first in real life event, that we did because we were a strong community on web, especially on Twitter, X now. We realized that, okay, there's this interaction. Every member is interacting with other members, and it's very, it's something that very nice to see, and also for your mind, trying to understand other people's views and stuff like that. And then we said, you know what, we should do a real life event, because all these people, we need to see a face sometimes. That it's something that I thought I did too. Of course, it's not the same thing, because we were a lot smaller, but we did this event, and it was very nice, because we started to see people coming from Greece, coming from Sweden, people that I met just in the digital life, and now were in front of me talking about their passions and stuff like that, and it was amazing for me. And also the organization of the event. Every member took a part trying to organize.
What's the name of the event?
The event, the name was Links Between Words, because it was the topic of the drop that we planned. So we said, okay, we have these like 50 I think it was like 50 artists, and let's try to make a drop of new artworks about a topic. And the topic was this links between words. And so every artist had this his proper idea of this topic, and during the organization, every artist tried to help in a way. So there was one maybe doing the graphics, me that I was here in Florence trying to arrange everything with the location and stuff like that. And so it was very, very nice. And after this one, we felt that the community was, growing in terms also of relationships between the members. And now we're trying to participate in other events as much as possible, the events that we like. For that reason, we were in Naples last week, and I'm very happy about that. It's not something that you do for the money. To be honest, it's not like actually now it's not a business, but it's something that we are doing really because we like what we do. We have fun doing that, even if at the end of the day we are fucking tired, I have to say, because it's like having two jobs, But still, it's something that helps me to be every day stimulated more and more, and be curious about something different, because every artist that I met in our community is very far from me. And at the start, I thought, even if in some cases I thought, no, this is not good. I really thought that this is not good. I don't like. Then I understood what's behind a particular style or a particular idea. And now I'm clearly more open to other, views, because I was really close to my view of the sci-fi things, and to be really skilled, and I always thought, okay, I'm not skilled enough. Every one of us has a bit this stuff inside. I'm not skilled enough. Look, this artwork is amazing. Look, this one is amazing. Dubois, for instance. And now I understood that there's much more. There are.
Is Thomas also part of that drop?
Sorry?
Is Thomas Dubois also part of that drop?
No. Unfortunately, not. No. I really wanted to, but no. We stayed more in our small community. I mean, we had good artists that came from. World in which the art is very valued. Let's say the good prices, we can say. But no, not him, because we were also a bit far from. He's not really in the archivist world, because he does everything, but it was not really archivist related. It's just about the art. So I usually meet people, and when I say, the archivist, blah blah blah, they say, "What's the archivist?"
It is, you have touched on a lot of things, and maybe I want to help you a little bit keeping this conversation organized. Like, you touched on NFTs, which I agree, it's a great technology. There was a lot of speculation, a couple of years ago when it first started to emerge. I've also been part of that world. I'm still part of that world. It's just that, because I felt like everything was money driven and it wasn't really about the art. It got to a point where I didn't feel like I was making stuff because of myself. I was making stuff for selling it. And some people might agree that this is actually the way to do it. But, that's another topic.
We don't think so, probably.
It's nice to me that, I took a bet on the idea of digital ownership. And maybe NFTs are not the final product. Like, the final product will probably be a lot different, 10, 15 years from now. But I do think that people need to pay attention, because we already own digital things. It's just that we don't see them as something that we own. And I can give you an example, the licenses for 3ds Max, the Adobe license. These are things that we do own. But I do see like a way that we interact online, on Instagram, on TikTok, or even on phone calls like this. Yeah. Now you have your picture printed behind your back.
Yeah.
But one day when we are going to have a full immersive experience, those artworks, you might actually be able to own the real digital product inside of your digital room. And this is going to be enabled by a link between the digital and the physical world. So I think that this is very interesting.
This is about really the ownership, that you finally can own something on the web. That it's, everyone thinks that you have your pictures on Instagram, but it's not yours for real. Of course it's you, but then the rights on the pictures are not yours. While now we can really own something, and that's why I say that we can't go back on this. We can just go forward, and we should go forward. But as you say, we should be aware and we should be careful on that, just trying to understand the best way to do that and avoiding speculation and fake stuff.
Giovanni, let me ask you something. There are a few questions that I would like to know, but now with the coming of AI, where there is a lot of automation in creating ideas and creating, we're basically taking a little bit of the craftsmanship from artists away from them, and we're putting it into sort of like an automated system. Personally, because I'm an artist and I've been in this field long enough and I've been paying attention, I can recognize when something comes, say, from Midjourney. Still, I can recognize it, but I do think that sooner or later we will get to a point where we won't be able to recognize it. And so how is this going to impact the world of art? Because, a big chunk of making something cool is the craftsmanship. But if we're taking this away, we're taking away also the exploration, because, typing some prompts is not
The
the
same.
same process as, making a mistake when modeling something, or even adjusting assets where you say, oh, here there is something interesting. We're really outsourcing the process of making decisions completely to the machine. So, I honestly don't know whether this is a good or a bad thing, because, like 15 years ago, if you were using Evermotion assets in your renderings, people thought it was cheating. Nowadays, you cannot
It's normal.
make
Yeah.
work without that, right? And so I'm curious to know what you think about this. And, feel
Yeah.
free to expand as much as you want.
Cool. I think this is not a good or bad question. This is the question. They say, so, I mean, one of the biggest question is the AI stuff art? I mean, that is one of the topics of the nowadays, And it seems that the answer is yes, it is, because it's recognized as art, but not in terms that it's recognized as something that is not AI. Something AI can be art. I mean, it's like that. It's in our world, it's like that. We can't say something against that, because we have to accept. Then I think personally I use AI in my workflow to get ideas. I have to say so at the very beginning. But then I still prefer to have this sort of artworks that are crafted, let's say, so that they came more from my knowledge of using 3D elements and stuff like that. But I have to say that, we will arrive at a certain point that we are very close to it, to be honest. With a prompt, we could reproduce everything, basically. We should try to understand how to integrate this technology in our workflow. And I think that the worst approach is to say, no, I will not use the AI. Because you can't do that. I mean, you really can't do, because it's something that is in our life every day now. You see AI generated images every day, and you should use it as a tool, maybe to improve stuff in your visuals, maybe to, I don't know, just to get ideas, as I said at the start. Because if you think that with a simple prompt you can get, I don't know, like 100 examples of artworks, you can be stimulated from that. But it's very hard to understand, if in future this is something that will create major problems to artists like me, for instance. But to be honest, I try to stay, let's say, open and curious about the stuff, trying to understand how this can be useful to me without removing the crafted part. Because also in our life, I think if you are going to buy like a piece of furniture from, let's say from IKEA, it's not like one that you can buy from, I don't know, a workshop here in Florence. The quality is different. Of course, the pricing is different and stuff like that. So I try to see this in my mind as this example that I made. So there's like the craft thing, and there's AI thing. Of course, at a certain point, maybe the prompt is going to be so complex that it seems crafted, but it's different. It's just that we have to see where this stuff will go. But to be honest, I'm not scared. I'm just curious, and I think this should be the right attitude. Try to always be curious and open to what will come, because in general, you can't anticipate the technology. Never. I mean, are you Steve Jobs? I don't think so. Even if you're Steve Jobs, in general, you are always like a victim of the technology in general. You have to try to understand how you can use it, and we have also to say that we are in a very specific moment of the digital era that is growing. I don't know how quicker it's growing, because I think never we had this kind of growth. But let's see. Not, I'm just curious of that. I'm not scared.
To me, one thing that it's worth reflecting on is the fact that I'm an artist. I produce digital work quite constantly, and I do it for my own pleasure. I've done it also professionally in the past, sold it as an NFT, and I stopped doing that for now simply because I just want the noise to go away. But then I look at people like you, and even with AI, where everybody can basically be an artist, the things that matter and the people that make others talk about them is still very limited to a group of people that is actually capable of make these things happen for themselves. And so within the context of everybody being able to make art, Giovanni Croce is still an artist that is making stuff for himself and is not like everybody else. And so that level of individualism, for me, is even more elevated by things like AI, because, you know, now that everybody can do it, why is Giovanni Croce an artist that it's better than most, right? That's the big question.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, you know, like, it's easy to say, oh, AI will take our jobs, or AI, it's not art. Yeah, but there is a lot going on that people don't get to see. And so, you know, you want to use AI as an excuse for you not to be an artist or not to be successful in the field of art, go for it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
do understand that there are people that are still doing this stuff and they're doing it quite successfully. Why is that, right? Anyway, this was just a little parenthesis, you know, to make people aware of the fact that sometimes we do use excuses to avoid actually asking ourselves the big, serious questions, which are like, hey, why am I not as good as that person, right? Or
I mean, the another question now that I do to myself, I ask to myself, is also what I should learn next. You know, this is an hard question, I think, because of the AI. So, is this is worth to understand to learn this software, for instance, or it will be replaced by AI? Because in some cases, you know, but this is just something that you ask yourself if you want to improve in general. So, I think it's the next step. You know, when you are aware of what AI is, and then you try to be one step beyond, on yourself, not, on the humanity, of course. But it's a very, very complex world, and who knows where we are going to be in the next, 5 years. That seems nothing, but it's a lot.
Giovanni, let me paddle back a little bit, because I would like to ask you, our crowd, it's mainly archivist people. We also have a lot of like digital artists. But I would like to know something a little bit more specific to you and to your journey. You worked in London, is that correct?
Yeah, I work in London.
What was the? Oh, sorry.
No. Just for 1 year, more or less.
What was the difference of being in London, working in London, in a team in London, and you going back to Italy and setting up the studio for Second Smith, but in Italy? What are some of the different dynamics, and how can you compare the lifestyle from Italy and the one in London?
Okay, let me start saying that I loved London. So, I was very in love with the city from, I think, my first journey here when I was 17 or something like that. Then I have to say, as you say, as an Italian, when you are in your country, lifestyle in Italy is very good. For food, for the weather, it seems common stuff to say, but it's not, because it's the reality. About then, the lifestyle, comparing the two offices, of course it was not so easy, because you have to think that we left all the management in London, and we started to, trying to understand how to create a proper management here, but still trying to be linked to London. And I have to say, we are now in the moment in which we are really understanding that stuff. So it's not so easy. Yeah, exactly. Because when you open a new office and you hire new people and you have to, teach to these people stuff and take these people and put the people in the workflow that you know how the workflow in Archivist is. It's like a jungle, you know, you have to be able to manage everything and to be able to rush stuff and manage your time. This is the different part, the art part, you know, because doing an image is very easy.
They're making some noise. I'm going to close the window.
No worries. So yeah, it was a journey to me, and it is a journey now also, because when I came here in Florence, I was just, let's say a common artist, and then I had to understand how to manage first myself, and then other people during the time, because it was not at the beginning of the opening of the office. And also the same for the Josh and Tommaso that were in London, trying to, you know, how to interact with the office was not so easy, but I think it's normal when you grow as a company, and we are still a small company if you think, because we are like...
How many people are you?
Are 14, I think, or 13, I can't remember, well, something like.
Within our field, this is already considered like a medium-sized company.
Yeah, it's a medium, but if you see, you know, in terms of big productions, usually you have also, it's more structured companies, let's say, and because we are always in the dimension of a family, we are like a family, you know, and I mean, that's the good thing. And about the two offices, I have to say we were a lot of Italians also in London, so there was not a big change on that stuff. Of course, the Italian is more noisy, and compared to the English one, but yeah, I mean, we like each other. It's not always easy, but this is normal, I think, in companies. I think every artist you interviewed before and every artist we know working in the archives knows about that, and it depends about the project and about the client a lot. But yeah, we are now we have the correct setup now, let's say, for everything, and we are still trying to understand where we can grow, and also because now we have a team, and more or less all the team is skilled in a good level of skills, a good level of experience more than skills, and also the ones that came at the start, at the beginning of the office in Florence now are skilled. Now they have experience, now they know how to manage properly their time, and so there's not this, you know, big jump from the junior to the seniors. I mean, there's a jump, of course, but not so big one. I mean, the distance is not. It's more about how to manage your stuff, because then we try to, you know, produce images as a process also. So, I mean, the artists take care of all the process, really. We are not structured like in post-production, 3D and stuff like that. So you do like the camera, you do the post-production, you do the 3D, you do everything. But we have also, you know, reviews, stuff like that on the images altogether. So there are several opinions that came in one, trying to go in one direction, that is to do a product that is a good product for the company. And so it's really, I mean, this is to say that the artist is not alone, you know, doing the image, and then of course a junior can make a messy one and a senior a wow one. It's a process. So in general, we try to keep the same quality for all the images that came from the company, even if it's a junior, or if it's a senior, or if it's a mid.
There is a very illustrative approach to the work that you guys do at Sekismith. Like, you know, you don't strive for like hyper realism like a lot of companies do. What is the main reason behind the stylistic choice that you guys produce?
Yeah, I think because in general we are all people that I mean, of course we like also the photorealism. When everyone in the company see a really photorealistic image, says, yeah, this is very nice. But in general we are all passionate about paintings and stuff like that. We have this idea of the light that needs to be stronger. Of course, it's something that in some cases fights a bit with the client's idea. So it's not so easy to, you know, always put the client on your side, trying to understand. But yeah, in general, I think it's something that we like. We like to do more a painting style. I mean, when I say we like, it's really like the individual person in the company, and of course it depends about the project. But in general, yeah, we used to give this, even if it's some images that were more photorealistic. We try to give a bit more of this a painting approach. Even if then, because there are some companies that do like a really painting style, but it's really super painting. I don't know if you know what I mean. That you can see,
Yeah.
you can't really understand the details in the image. That it's a style. It's a style, and it can came from the client, of course. But we try to do like a painting style. But if you see the image, just try to zoom. It's full of details. So yeah, I mean, this is the hard part because we try to care about all the details. But at the end, it's not like photorealistic approach as others, and it's something that we are trying to do as well in our animations. So you can see there's something that was published on also the Instagram account, I think, or the website also that Josh renewed recently. There was an animation made by Holly, that is one our lead artist, and it looks pretty photorealistic to me. But then you can see there's always like a bit of poetry in the light. So this is something, the approach we want to have, and the approach we had till now, and we don't see why we should change this stuff. Of course, we can improve the quality, we can improve a lot of things, but it's like to have, as you said, an approach that is you can recognize from the outside, and I think it's quite important for a company to have something that you can recognize, saying, you know what, this should be Seki Smith, or this should be, brick, this should be mirror, or something like that.
I like it. I think that it's beautiful and it's very romantic to a certain extent. I am a sucker for like compositions, and I love that like oftentimes you really play with like focus points and a lot of like leading lines, and you can tell that there is a lot of control on the way that you guys make images. And recently I saw a detail. It was like a round image with like a round opening in the middle, and I was like, this is really like done on purpose. Like even if the image doesn't say a lot, it's still very romantic, right? And I think that this is a luxury in our field to be able to produce that kind of stuff, because clients go like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, not all the clients are, as I said, are open to this kind of images, unfortunately. But always we try. I mean, we know also when we can try to do something like that, and when we can't, because of the request of the client. That's every company, I think, has a lot of good images and a lot of images that are good, but then the composition is a bit forced because of the client, and I think this is a common problem that we have. Yeah. Not us, I mean, in general, in the industry. But yes, we try, and we recently we are trying also to change a bit. To experiment a bit with new compositions. But in general, yeah, we try to look at photographers, and for the, let's say, the more not the common one, but the central perspectives that we really like. Those are more like a painting style, while others are more related to maybe famous photographers or stuff like that. These are the main references that we have. It depends about the moment, to be honest. In some cases, I like a lot to have your calm composition, the central perspective, your painting style stuff. Sometimes they ask you to open the lens a lot and see everything, but this is about the architecture is like that, and there's nothing we should hide about that, because everyone knows about.
It's funny that you say that. Let me ask you another thing. Like, okay,
Yeah.
So if you guys work in such a style, when you gather references on how to do things, you're obviously probably don't look for photorealistic references. You're more focused on like framing and ideas that work within the So tell me a little bit about the gathering of references, because I'm curious about this.
Yeah, I have to say that at this point we worked a lot with not all the same references, but often references that we liked were always that kind of references. So now it's a bit automatic in your brain to go with your brain. There's not really this research in some cases because you know where you want to go. But it's like we start from photos in general because it's more about the composition. And then in some cases we adapt these photos to then our style. So we try to understand first the composition, if works, if we have some idea how to frame the image, how to create a focal point on the image, you know, and in case of we are in a dusk shot, for instance, we try to play with the lights, but in general we try to play with the contrast between light and shadows, and so we go from the photos 100%, I have to say, and then colors, but they came always from the photos. Then if we have something that comes from the client in a more like painting style, we try to see references, but I think everyone has his own references. You know, I have, for instance, like the Canaletto ones. I look to
Piranesi.
Yeah, Piranesi, of course. Turner as for the palette, stuff like that. Not always you can apply these principles, of course, because if it's like that, it will be the dreamy, you know, the dream.
Turner who?
The painter. I think I have something here. No, I don't have the painter which has a lot of skies. You know, it's really just for the colors that I like.
I have to look it up. I have to say I'm not sure.
Yeah, William Turner, I think. Now I just was in doubt about the name.
Is it a contemporary painter or
no? I was like 18th century, 17th century. I can't remember now, but yeah, I have these books in the office that sometimes, of course, when you have time, because you know how the industry is, but it's something that we try to teach to the people at the very beginning, so you know how to go, and then if we try to go more for. Particular references when we have particular projects, let's say. So, because in some cases, you know, you have clients with you work every week or every month, and you know what they want to see, you know what you can do or what you can't. In some cases, so it's easier in that case, but it's maybe it's not the funniest part, let's say. While when you have other kind of projects, you can try to experiment a bit more and stuff like that. So trying to be more curious about the approach you can have. But I have to say, as I said before, always start from the photography mainly.
Giovanni, believe it or not, you and I have been talking almost for an hour. Unfortunately, we did not record the whole conversation because some of it was like us catching up as friends, right? As online ND2 friends. But I tried to keep these conversations relatively short because, you know, like I want people to enjoy as much as possible in the shortest possible amount of time. I just want to thank you for taking the time. You and I, we will have to stay in touch because of other things that we're working on together. We're not going to give anything away to people yet, but I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me. It was sort of like last minute as, organizing this. But I'm really thankful that you took the time.
Between friends, I mean, there's no a great plan.
Italians, we can do that.
Exactly, you know. No, thank you, Fabio. It was very nice. I mean, as I said, it was like chatting with a friend, so that it is. So it's very nice. I mean, I think we can chat about this stuff for hours. So
that's the risk, but it's easier when it's in front of a beer in a place like, the D2 conference.
Yeah. So we will do that very soon.
In a few months.
In a few months. Perfect.
Giovanni, don't go anywhere. I'm going to stop the recording. I want to say thank you to everybody listening from home, watching this. And I'll make sure to have all the links that are needed to find out a little bit more about you in the description of the video. Again, man, thanks a lot for doing this.
To you, thank you, Fabio.
Non ti muovere.